ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्यस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता के सत्र में आपका
We welcome you to this session on Srimad Bhagavad Gita,
अध्याय का 44वां श्लोक,
first chapter, verse number 44.
गत श्लोकों में हमने अध्ययन किया।
In the previous verse, we studied that Arjun,
सेनाओं का निरीक्षण किया
when Arjun
तो उसके मन में मोह पैदा हुआ,
watched the armies on both sides,
उसके मन में
illusion was born in him,
कि इन सबको मारने
and
से
he
क्या लाभ
thought
होगा।
that what benefit shall we derive by killing all of them. They are all our relatives, and if our own relatives die, then what is the pleasure in life? Because whatever happiness and suffering we experience that with our relatives. And if our relatives do not exist, then the person will become miserable,
एक सामाजिक प्राणी
because man is a social being.
अकेला रह के प्रसन्न नहीं रह सकता।
Living alone, man cannot be happy. Bhagavan also doesn't like to live alone.
न रमते। तो अकेले में आनंद नहीं आया.
In the Upanishad it is said that Bhagavan was not happy alone, so he made this world. So man doesn't want to live alone, and today this is a big issue. World Health Organization has declared that because of loneliness there will be lot of problems, various types of psychological diseases and health problems and social problems will be there because of loneliness. So Arjun is also thinking this, and then he said that if our family members, relatives all die, then the Kula Dharma, Jati Dharma will be destroyed, the forefathers they will glide down to hell, there will be no Pinda Kriya, no Shraddha, and Varna Sankaras will be born. He discussed this, and actually he did not want to fight, because when this illusion was there, he did not want to fight. And whenever a person wants to do something or he doesn't want to do something, then he tries to find logic to support his idea. Because this is the nature of our mind, our intelligence, that whatever we like to do, we want it to be logical. Because if somebody asks us, why are you doing this, then we have to answer. So whatever we do, whether that activity is good or bad, it is religious or irreligious, we will definitely have some logic for that. That it may be illogical also, but that there will be some logic. We will always see it logical, but others may see it contrary to logic. So by one's intelligence, one never does anything wrong. Whatever he or she does, there is some logic behind that. So Arjun also now does not want to fight, because this Kula Dharma, Jati Dharma, this family traditions will be lost, Sanatan Dharma will be lost. Why was he not worried about these issues earlier? It is not that suddenly he has been told that you have to fight. He had arrived on the battlefield for fighting only, and he was ready to fight. He had lifted up the bow and arrows. So here he knew that there will be war, and everybody knows what happens in war. War means death, whether it is from our own side or from somebody else's side, but in war there will be death. So why did he not think about this earlier? That time he might have given some other logic, that these people, they are irreligious, they stole away our property, they insulted our wife. Arjun had addressed them as Atatai, oppressors. That's why he wanted to kill them. Now that his mind has changed, now his logic has also changed. So in this way our intelligence works. Whatever we like to do, for that we try to find some supporting logic. So Arjun is also giving logic which appear very nice. His main logic is that by this war, dharma will get destroyed. And he even told that these people on the Kaurava side, they can't see the loss, decline of dharma due to this war, but we should understand. But then logically, whoever is on Arjuna's side, they are also fools. They never thought about, they never gave all this logic that Arjun is giving, so they should also be then considered fools. So with this we should try to study how our mind, our intelligence works. That's why it is very difficult to explain anything to anybody. If you try to give some instruction to somebody, it is very difficult. If that instruction is against that person's plan, if I support what you want to do, then you will consider me a good person. You will be happy with me. But if I say something contrary to your plan, then you will not accept that. That is why in India, in this Guru-Shishya, Guru-disciple relation, this system was made because until and unless you obey and you respect your Guru, you will not do what he says. because what Guru will say will be contrary to our material attachments, material pleasures, and that is the path of spirituality. Spirituality is meant for removing our avidya, our ignorance. Spirituality wants us to bring us on the path of light. We are in this world because of our illusion, we are suffering. So removing all this is the job of spirituality, and we don't want to get rid of our anarthas because we have been always been immersed in that. Our mind is absorbed in that. Our this material life, our attachments, aversions, this is all in our life. Other than that, what else is there in our life? This material life is, its essence is this much only, nothing more. It is all coming from avidya, ignorance. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha. So all this talk that is going on, it is spoken from the ahankar, out of that avidya. This, the human being's ahankar, if this ahankar is not connected to Bhagavan, then from this only all the anarthas arise, whoever it may be. This is the root of all our diseases, this material ego, the material ahankara. So then what happens is that when you join any spiritual society or spiritual organization, they tell you to get rid of your ego, your ahankar. They talk a lot about that. But the problem is to remove your ahankar, to get rid of it also you need an ahankar. Because whatever we do, it is by ahankar only. In this body, whoever is operating is our ahankar only. Like if you have a business and you are its owner, then you are operating that, it is all yours. So our this body, senses, mind, intelligence, their king is our ahankar, the ego. That's why it is called ahankara. There is another word in Sanskrit for this which is called asmita. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesh and abhinivesh. These are the 5 kleshas. In the Yoga Sutra, these 5 kleshas have been explained by Rishi Patanjali. So he says, first of all, we have this avidya, which is from beginningless time, anadi. Since when we are here, our avidya is also there with us. Avidya is our companion, like twin sister. So avidya has always been with us. Since when there is the Atma, there has also been avidya. And the first job of avidya is asmita. Asmita means I exist, I am. So I am this body, because avidya is not in the Atma. Avidya is outside the Atma. This is our fortune. If avidya would have been inside the Atma, then it would have never been able to come out. So since avidya is outside, its first effect is we get the understanding that I am this body. And if I am this body, it will not just sit down, it will do something. So I do something. So asmita and then ahankar. So this sense of doership, that I am the doer, this comes from the ahankara. That's why whatever we do, we attach I in that. I have done this or whatever. Even if we don't do, internally we think like that. Sometimes out of humility we say that I am nothing. We speak like this. That what is my qualification, but internally the person is thinking, no, this is actually not the case. Internally the person doesn't think that I am not qualified, just says externally. Because if somebody says that thing, that you are not qualified, then I will become angry. So then we will become angry if he says that you are nothing. Because internally we have not accepted the fact that we are nothing. We just on a behavioral platform we speak like this, that what am I, you are only everything, everything is yours, we are just like that. if that a person actually says, okay, you are nothing, you are useless, then
तो ये जो अहंकार है,
so this ahankara,
छोड़ नहीं सकते,
we cannot get rid of it.
संस्थाओं में बहुत बार
In spiritual societies, it is said many times that drop your ego,
ड्रॉप नहीं कर सकते,
but it cannot be dropped actually. We cannot get rid of it
वास्तविक है,
because it is a reality.
शरीर है, आप शरीर
Like body is a reality. Can you get rid of your body just like
के
that?
अंदर ही अहंकार है,
And the ahankara is also inside the body.
उससे महत्त्व से अहंकार,
So from Prakriti, Mahatattva, Ahankar, then the senses, then this body. So how can we get rid of it?
बुद्धि को त्याग दो आप,
If I tell you get rid of your intelligence, can you do that?
कि अपनी आंख निकाल के बाहर
It is just say, like saying that pluck your eyes and keep it aside. How can you do that? So we cannot get rid of it.
बेकार है कहना कि इसको छोड़ दो.
So it is useless telling that get rid of your ahankar. What we can do is we can reduce the range of our ahankar. Some people have very broad ahankar, so you can reduce its domain, but you cannot make it zero, because for making it zero you need another ahankar, because any activity cannot be done without ahankar. That's why on the path of bhakti it is not told instructed to get rid of ahankar, it is instructed to change the ahankar to I am servant of Bhagavan. Because this body is given by him, the Atma is existing because of him, his body is because of him only. Bhagavan has said, Binna Prakriti Rashtadha, that this is also my Prakriti, Ahamkara is included in that. So the Atma's Ahankara, whether it is in body also, it is his energy only. So the solution for the problem of Ahankara is only in Bhakti path, and we change it to I am your servant, I am servant of Bhagavan, I am the Dasa. So this sense can only bring peace in the society. Otherwise, this fighting will always continue in the society. If you don't do this, somebody else will do, like Arjun is telling, I am ready to die at their hands. But will that solve the problem? Will Dharma be saved if Arjun dies? Arjun himself is telling that if these people, Pinda Kriya will be stopped. But if he himself dies, then will Pinda Kriya will not be stopped? So his logic is that if we don't fight, then Dharma will be saved. But actually, by not fighting, Dharma will not be saved. Because if he doesn't fight, the irreligious people will rule, and then Dharma will get destroyed. So our intelligence works like this. That's why it is important that we take education from Guru, from teacher, that Arjun will tell in the next chapter, that Shishyasteham Shadi Mam Tvam Prapannam, that I am surrendered to you, please instruct me. Because knowledge does not come on its own. Jnana, it is not possible to obtain knowledge just automatically on its own, but because of ahankara we think like that. And in the modern world, this ahankara is at the topmost level. But nobody thinks that I have to learn something from somebody, that I need to surrender to somebody. The word surrender appears like a slang word. But humanity comes in us only when we take shelter of a qualified teacher, qualified guru, and learn under him. Only then we can be qualified to be called a human being. Otherwise, we just operate with our ahamkara, and we ourselves have to suffer the result of working according to our material ego. And the whole society also has to suffer, and its only result is suffering, lack of peace, destruction of peace. We lose our peace and we destroy the peace in society also. So in Gita, Bhagavan says, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. He's simple, making a very simple point, that by knowing me you will achieve peace. So by giving up all these things, giving up all these attachments, you will get peace. Because actually what do we have to give up? Nothing belongs to us. People think that how can we live without attachment? No, you can live with attachment, but actually that is false. It is not yours. It will simply become cause of your suffering. But we have got addicted to suffering. Like people get into addiction. If they do not receive the substance of their addiction, they become restless. So our condition is also like that. That if we do not have any fighting among each other, then we feel that it's all dry. Something is not good. If everything is peaceful, we don't feel like we are living. So that's why Arjun is now continuing that logic. So let's continue that. And this is the verse number 44 of the first chapter. Verse 44 translation. We have heard from traditional sources, O Janardhan, that those whose family traditions have been abolished reside in hell for an indefinite period. So those who are authoritative personalities, who are the authorized teachers, gurus, when they speak something, they speak with evidence, with pramana. So Arjun is anyway giving logic, giving tarka, and he has been telling that what all will be the loss. Like our relatives will die, we will go to hell, these all will go to hell, our family traditions will be lost, women will be corrupted, Varna Sankar will be born. He gave all this logic. Now if somebody says, what is the evidence? What is the pramana for this? Maybe you are faking up some story. So he is giving the praman, the evidence, that iti anushruma, that we have heard like this from the traditional sources. So Arjun is giving praman from Shastra. He is telling that I am not speaking something outside or against Shastra. What I am speaking is authorized by Shastra. That when these family traditions will be destroyed, the Kula Dharma will be destroyed, then we are like in hell only. Narak or hell does not mean just some physical place. By whatever a person cries or shouts, crying loudly, that is Naraka. Naraka means suffering. So if we do not follow our Kula Dharma, Jati Dharma, then we suffer. Like we are seeing in society, that people are under illusion, they don't understand what we should do in life, what we should avoid. They just feel lost. So they keep making mistakes and then they have to suffer for that. Some results come immediately, some come with a delay. Like if we do anything against the state law, then police will catch hold of us and we will have to go to jail and we will have to suffer, we will be punished. So people do this because there is no proper education. So that's why it is being said that these traditions will be lost, destroyed, they will be lost. So why these traditions have been made, the systems have been made so that society can function systematically, properly. That's why the rules of dharma are framed. So some rules are eternal. Some rules are like framed by ourselves, like the state law is made by some people. It is not eternal, but it is needed. But there are some rules like speaking truth, not performing violence, not stealing. These are eternally true principles. It's not that after a few years somebody will say that stealing is good. So whatever it may be, what we call law today, that is only dharma. What Arjun is talking about, Kula Dharma and Jati Dharma, today that is law. Like today,
main constitution
we just don't have only the main constitution in the country. If there is a municipality in your city, it also has some rules.
इस प्रकार की संस्थाएं हैं
So like this, there are many institutions in the
गवर्नमेंट के लॉ हैं,
society which have laws like state law, central laws, laws at small levels. Like if you have an association in your colony, then you also frame some rules.
यहाँ मत डालो, इस दिन ये मत करो, वो करो,
You can't throw the dirt here or there. So these laws are framed
पहले समाज
for
में
systematic
कुल
maintenance.
के नियम होते थे, कुल माने
So earlier also in the society there were rules.
तो अपने कुछ नियमावली उनकी होती थी, तो व्यवस्था सुचारू रूप से
So
चले,
the society may function in a proper systematic manner, and the people may deal
द्वेष, राग द्वेष
with each other
या जो शक्तिशाली है
without
निर्बल को
attachment or hatred, without exploitation. So for all these things rules were framed.
तो इसलिए ये सब नष्ट हो जाएंगे, तो उसका
So he is telling that all these will be destroyed and it will result into suffering.
तो अब वो अपने अंतिम शब्द बोलने जा रहा है।
Now he is going to speak his final words.
कर्तुम व्यवसिता वयम यद राज्य सुख लोभेन हंतुम स्वजनम उद्यतः।
Translation of verse 45. Alas, we have resolved to commit a great sin because we are intent upon killing our own kinsmen out of greed for the pleasure of royalty. So now Arjun is considering himself as greedy, and he is feeling immensely surprised because of that. So the word aho in Sanskrit is a great surprise. So Arjun is surprised that how come our intelligence has fallen into such illusion. So Arjun is feeling surprised that how did I even come here to fight in the war. So what happens is that when we talk on some subject matter, if it is related with feelings, then that talk affects us also. When a person is speaking, he himself or herself gets affected or impacted by own words. So if somebody had an accident or died, so and when we speak about that, sometimes while speaking we ourselves start crying. So we ourselves get affected by our own thoughts and our words. So Arjun also, while speaking, he has become so much affected mentally. He is thinking that I have committed a great sin. It is not that intentionally he is thinking like that. He is actually thinking we have committed a great sin. We have decided to commit a great sin. How did we even come to this situation? And he is speaking with great lamentation that we are going to commit such a big sin. And we are so much determined to commit this great sin. And what is that great sin? That for out of greed for the pleasure of royalty, we are intent upon killing our own kinsmen. People do this many times, that the father is very rich and the son wants that he should die. He has a brother. So for the greed of wealth, people kill their own maybe parents or relatives or get them killed. There are so many stories and news like all this that we hear about. So Arjun is telling that for out of greed for the pleasure of royalty, we are intent upon committing such a great sin. We are killing our own kinsmen. Where has our intelligence gone away? How can we fall down to such a level? Why did we not think about this initially? Arjun is worried that what has happened to all these people who are all standing here, why are they not thinking the way I am thinking? Like Arjun told earlier. So he is telling that greed is the main cause of all this. So this is what happens in greed. Bhagavan has told in Gita. So Bhagavan has told in Gita that there are three gates to hell. Hell means suffering. it means that if you want to suffer, then there are three doors that lead to suffering. So you can just imagine that suffering has a big office, it has a center, and there are different types of suffering in that, because you can suffer in various different ways. Your hands may get burnt, you may have pain in the stomach because of eating something. So there are different ways of getting suffering. So as such, there are many ways, but primarily they have been categorized into three divisions. In three ways, we can enter the hall of suffering. There are three doors. Like for example, if you go to some park of entertainment, then you may have ferry wheel, then sleeping that children do, swimming, and all kinds of toys are there for entertainment. But in that park, for entering in that park, there may be three different doors. So like this is the entertainment park of suffering, how you can suffer. So there are three doors for that. One is lust, one is anger, and another is greed. So here he is talking about greed. Actually, the greed is the child of lust only. The original suffering is lust only. Because of lust only, person suffers. So we hear of so much news that person has lust within and he behaves in the wrong way with somebody, he gets caught, and then whole life he has to suffer. Sometimes he is hanged till death also. And then he has to suffer in the society. People insult him just because of little lust. That's why Bhagavan said that this is the door to hell. And when lust is not satisfied, then we have anger. So people have experience of anger also. When their anger will never lead to a good result. When you are angry, you take some wrong decision because you are into moha or illusion. When we are angry, it leads to wrong result. So this is the child of Rajogun, lust, anger. They are the children of the Rajogun. Kama is also very strong. It's very muscular. If it hits you, then you will be thrown far away. And anger is so strong that it can totally burn us. So these are the two real enemies, lust and anger. So when lust is not satisfied, then we have anger. And if lust is satisfied, then we have greed. So anger and greed both are the children of lust. That is why sometimes anger is also addressed as Kamanuja. It's the younger brother of lust, Kama. It comes after Kama. Both Kama is called Manasaja. It's born in the mind. So like Manoj is a very common name. What is the meaning of Manoj? Manoj means Kama because it is born in the mind. So Manoj is a very popular name. It simply means Kama. And the younger brother of Kama is Krodha, anger. So these three, they move together. Anybody who has lust or Kama, then naturally anger and greed are also coming behind. And if some you see that somebody has anger, then that means in front of him there is lust also. So these three, they all move together. And this is the source of suffering. If you analyze your life, whatever suffering you have encountered, it's because of this only. A simple example, like if you are eating something and the menu is according to your desire, then you do overeating, and then you have stomach pain.
नरक का द्वार हो गया ना,
So this is also like a gateway to hell only.
ऐसे ही लोभ की।
So that's why there are many stories like this of greed.
किसान था,
So there was a poor farmer.
ज्यादा जमीन नहीं थी,
He did not have much land,
परिवार का काम बड़ी मुश्किल से चलाता था,
and with a lot of trouble he was maintaining his family.
बहुत दानी था।
So the king there was very charitable.
हमारे कुछ
So the farmer was advised that go to the king, he will help you.
से क्या चाहिए,
He went to the king, and the king asked, what do you want?
साहब मैं
So
किसान
the
हूँ,
farmer said that I am a farmer
है
and I have very little land for farming, and that is not sufficient enough to maintain my family. So the king asked, do you want more land? So the farmer said yes. And the king asked, how much do you want? So the farmer said, as much as you can give me. So the king said, do one thing.
चलना चालू करो,
Tomorrow you start
जहाँ
walking
तक आप चल
from sunrise,
जाओगे सूर्यास्त तक,
and
सारी जमीन आपकी।
how much you walk and you come back before sunset, that much land will be
वो
yours.
आया,
So the person was very happy.
बताया था कि
Next day he came,
यहाँ से आप चलिए,
and he was told that this is your field, and from here you start walking.
सूर्यास्त तक वापस
Keep
आना,
walking, but then
तो उतना सब आपका।
till sunset you have to return at this
अब उस
point.
आदमी ने
So
सोचा
how
कि
much land you
इतना
can cover in the day, that much will be
में तो
yours.
कम जमीन आएगी ना,
So he was told that walk fast,
दौड़ना
because if he walks fast then he can cover more land. So he ran and ran and ran, and he covered huge tract of
अब उसको
land.
वापस भी तो आना ना,
But then he has to come back also.
वो ये भूल गया कि अब तो मैं
So
दौड़
he
रहा हूँ,
forgot that I am running, but after running I'll become tired, but then I have to return also.
केवल चला ही जा रहा है वो,
And now he is running, running.
तेज तेज चल रहा है, तो उसने बहुत कई किलोमीटर आगे निकल गया, फिर
So
उसको
he
लगा कि
ran
सूर्य नीचे जा रहा है,
a
तो उसने सोचा
very
कि
long
अब मुझे जाना
distance,
चाहिए, क्योंकि
and he
सूर्य
saw that
नीचे
now
जा रहा है,
sunset
बहुत
is
लंबा
going to
सफर
happen, so now I have to
तय
return.
था तब तक,
But while returning, he was not able to run.
लेकिन उसने
In
अपनी
fact, even walking was difficult for
उसको
him,
अपनी पूरी
but
शक्ति
he was
लगा के
walking with all his energy.
सूर्यास्त
He
तक
came,
तक वो वहां पर
and
खड़ा
by the
रहा,
time
फिर
he
मर गया,
returned till sunset, he fell down and he died.
तो उसको कुछ भी नहीं मिला, अपना जीवन और चला गया।
So he did not get anything in his life.
तो लोभ में
It was
ऐसा
a
होता है
waste. So this is what happens in greed.
कि अगर उसमें संतोष
So
होता तो वो कह देता
if the
कि मुझे
person is
तो 10
satisfied,
एकड़
then
भी
he'll say that no, I want this. If the farmer would have been satisfied, he could have asked 10 acres or whatever, and king would have given. But the farmer actually wanted to take the whole kingdom only. He also wanted to become a small
राज्य सुख
king
लोभ
under the main
इसी
king.
को बोलते हैं।
So this is Rajya Sukha Lobha, greed for royalty.
लोभ तो किसी वस्तु का होता
Because in greed, what happens is the greed is for some object,
है, उसको हम इसलिए चाहते हैं कि उससे हमको सुख
and we want that because we know that we will derive pleasure from that. Actually, there is no pleasure in the object.
उसको ज्यादा चाहते हैं,
Actually, we don't desire the object, we desire the pleasure from the
सुख
object.
मिलेगा, लोग हमारी
So
प्रशंसा
he is telling
करेंगे,
like this, that we will get kingdom, then we will derive pleasure from that, then people will praise us, we will have many servants, people will obey us, we will have armies.
उसका लोभ होता है ना इसका,
So people have greed for
मारना है
this.
तो मार दो, क्या
So for that, if we have to kill the opposition, kill them. Earlier, in earlier times, kings used to fight like this. Alexander,
हिंदी में सिकंदर कहते हैं,
in Hindi, Alexander is called Sikandar.
दूर तक तो
So Alexander, he came here from such long distance,
वापस जाते जाते मर गया,
and while returning, he died or
क्या
no?
मिला उसको,
So what did he achieve?
यही तो कहानी है,
This is the story.
कहाँ से आया था, ग्रीस से आया था, कहाँ
Where from where he came? I think he came from Greece or whatever. So he came here,
तो यहाँ आके थक गया,
and he was totally tired.
क्या बस बहुत हो गया,
The army said that enough of it. We cannot move ahead from here. So while returning, he was tired and he died.
डेंगू लग गया, मच्छर काट लिया ना उसको, यहाँ
Got dengue in India.
तो रास्ते में उसको बुखार
Was
हो गया,
bitten by mosquito, and on the way he had fever.
होता तो आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर कुछ कर देते उसका इलाज,
If he would have been in India, some Ayurvedic doctor would have treated him, but he had no treatment and he died because of
क्या
that.
उसको राज्य सुख मिला,
Did he actually enjoy the kingdom? What was his age? I think some 35 years. Or,
लोभ
so this is called the greed for the pleasure of royalty.
पाप करता,
So for this, the person
और ये बड़ी
commits
व्यवस्था
sins.
है, मजे की बात है
And this is something very interesting, that the person, he will commit sin, but he wants the result of punya,
पुण्य नहीं करेगा लेकिन
and
कर्म जरूर
will
करेगा
doesn't do punya, doesn't do pious activities, but he wants the result of pious
पुण्यम
activities.
न कुर्वन्ति मानव पुण्य यानी कि धर्म करेगा नहीं लेकिन धर्म का
The person does
फल
not
करे
perform pious activities, but he desires the result
शरीरम
of pious
क्षिप्ति
activities.
पापस्य पापम कुर्वन्ति यत्नतः और पाप का फल नहीं चाहते हैं
It doesn't, nobody wants the result of sinful activities, but with great endeavor, people commit sinful activities.
जो अलेक्जेंडर इतने दूर आया मरता हुआ लूटता हुआ
Alexander came such a long
लेकिन
distance,
पाप का फल
he
नहीं
was
चाहता
committing sin only, but he did not want the result of his sinful
चाहेगा
activities.
पुण्य का फल
Person wants
सुख
result of pious
पाप का
activities.
फल
The
होता है
result
दुख
of pious activities is
तो हम
pleasure,
चाहते तो सुख
sukha,
हैं
and the result of
और
sinful
कोशिश
activities
करते
is
हैं पूर्ण
suffering.
करने की
So we want pleasure, but we work hard
मूर्खता के
for
समान
sinful activities.
अरे जब
So
आप
this
सुख
is
चाहते हैं
the
तो सुख
symptom of
मिलता है धर्म से
foolishness. If you want pleasure,
दुख
pleasure
मिलता है
is
कर्म
possible
से
only by dharma, and suffering comes
हम
from
चाहते नहीं है
adharma,
लेकिन
irreligiousness.
करते
So
हैं
we don't want
और जब
suffering,
प्लानिंग करके
but we engage in adharma,
योजनाबद्ध
in
होकर
irreligiousness.
व्यक्ति अधर्म
We
करता
plan
है
a lot for that. The
लेकिन वो ये
person
नहीं सोचता
does
कि
lot
मुझे
of planning
प्लानिंग
for
से
that,
सुख कैसे
but he
मिलेगा ये
doesn't
हो नहीं
think
सकता है
that when I am doing
वो
this
सोचता है कि
adharma,
तो आम
I am
कहानी है
engaging in irreligion, I will not get pleasure.
मूर्ख आदमी भी जानता है कि अगर आप
A
बबूल
foolish
बोएंगे
person
तो उसमें
also
फल लगने
knows
वाला नहीं है
that
आपको आम
if
के
you
पेड़ से
plant the
मिलेगा
tree of babul, you will not get mango
आम
from
से
that.
मिलेगा सेब के पेड़
On
से
the
मिलेगा
lemon tree, you will get
बबूल के
lemon
पेड़ से
only. In
फल
apple tree,
लगेगा
you will get apple only. And in the babul tree, you will get thorns
आप
only.
बोता तो है बबूल
So you are sowing the seed
और
of
चाहता
for
है आम
thorns, and you want mango.
तो ऐसा तो होता नहीं है
So it doesn't happen like this.
कोई ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड मैथमेटिक्स नहीं है
There is no complicated mathematics in this.
आजकल कहते हैं ना कि रॉकेट साइंस कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है सीधी सी बात है जैसे
There is no
बीज
rocket
बोएंगे
science
वैसे
in
फल
this.
मिलेगा
It's simple
अगर आप
point that
धर्म का काम
whatever you
करोगे तो
sow,
उससे
you will
फल
reap
मिलेगा अधर्म का
accordingly.
काम करोगे तो
If
उससे
you engage in
फल नहीं
dharma,
मिलेगा
you will get pleasure.
क्या
If you engage in adharma, irreligiosity, you will
ये तो
suffer.
हो सकता है कि
Don't
हम
we know in
किसी
the
जगह फंस
society,
जाएं
if we break the laws,
पुलिस
then
के
we will
हाथों
suffer.
इसलिए आप
So
बच जाएं
somehow we try
यहाँ तो
to
बचने वाला नहीं है
avoid in the with the from the
और
state laws,
एक एक
but when it comes to
ज्ञान
the rules of shastra,
वो
we cannot
दिखाई
escape,
जाती है
because here each and every
कि
small minute
उसको
activity of ours is being
कि हम
observed.
बचने वाले नहीं हैं तो मिलेगा ही
There is no question of escaping from
लेकिन
anything.
अर्जुन इस समय
So
बात कर रहा है कि ये तो
Arjun
बुरे रास्ते
is
में जा रहे
talking
हैं फल नहीं
accordingly,
मिलेगा
that we are going to engage in
कर रहे
sin
हैं लोग
and we will have to suffer for that.
तो अभी वो अपना ये तर्क दे रहा है वास्तव
So
में
he is giving some logic
लेकिन
accordingly.
तर्क तो दे ही रहा है ये
Although it is not going correct in his situation, but still he is giving his this logic
संपत्ति प्राप्त हो राज्य
that
और उसका
either we get some
वस्तु
wealth,
प्राप्त
some
जिससे हमारा
objects,
भोग प्राप्त होगा तो
so we will derive pleasure from that.
ज्ञान ज्ञान के ऊपर हमको काम करना है तभी उसका फल मिलता है और
So we have to work
ये
according to
बहुत
proper
जरूरी
knowledge,
है कि
then only we get result
हमें
from
अगर
that.
किसी चीज के बारे में पता भी
And
नहीं
it is very important that even if we don't
तो
have
अपने विवेक से
proper
काम करना
knowledge,
चाहिए
at least we should work
अगर हमको
according to
ज्ञान है
our
शास्त्र का ज्ञान है
innate
चलिए
ability of
मन में
discrimination, that is called
ईमानदारी
viveka,
है
the inner
अंतर
voice
हृदय से
that
किसी
we
को
have
ठीक है
from our heart,
तो
that this
वो
is
नहीं करेंगे
wrong that I'm going to do,
जो
then
लोग
we should not do that.
अंतर्हृदय की बात
Those
नहीं
people
सुनते
who do not listen to their conscience,
तो फिर वो अंतर्हृदय से बात आनी भी बंद हो जाती है
then the voice from the conscience, it stops,
जैसे हमारे पास अज्ञान है
because like we have
अनादि
this
अविद्या भी
beginningless
वैसे
avidya,
अनादि विद्या भी है
like this we have a beginningless vidya also.
क्योंकि दोनों
We
प्रकृति
have
के हैं
both, because both
सत्वगुण भी
are
है
from prakriti.
रजस और तमस भी है
Like there is sattva gun, there is
सत्व
rajas
मतलब
and tamas also.
ज्ञान सत्वात
So
संजात ज्ञान
sattva
और
resembles
तमस
knowledge,
मतलब अज्ञान
tamas resembles
और रजस
agyan,
मतलब
ignorance,
मोह
and rajas
जलसा
is
घमंड
greed, illusion.
तो ये तीनों ही हैं इसलिए हर
So
एक
we
के
have all the
अंदर
three.
से ये आवाज
So
भी आती है
every
गलत
person,
है
he has a voice of his
लेकिन
conscience.
लोभ के कारण
that I should not do this, it is wrong. But due to greed, he suppresses that inner voice. If he listens to the voice of his conscience, which is coming from the Vivek, his inner sense of discrimination, from that also he can progress. So Arjuna's discrimination is influenced by his moha, but he is listening to his inner conscience, and that's why he is asking Bhagavan, and he will learn Bhagavad Gita. If he would have not listened to this and just engaged in the war, but Arjun did not do like that. Although whatever logic he is giving, they are actually not according to Shastra in his situation, and Bhagavan will refute all that from the second chapter onwards. But still, uh, Arjun is very courageous. One who listens to his conscience, that person is courageous. And one who is weak, he suppresses his conscience and engages in wrong activity. I have to go according to the society. So Arjun is actually a very courageous person because so many people are standing there to fight, and Arjun is one of in the as is a top warrior, and still he is talking like this. That means for this we need lot of courage. So the inner conscience that he has, he did not suppress it. So he had this thought that these are my gurus. I have to fight. Why should I think about all this? Let me just fight. Later I will think about all that. Many times we think like this, that what will people think about? We have a lot of worry. What will people think about me? And we suppress our inner conscience. So, this is a great lesson being imparted to us that Arjun, how he is listening to his conscience, and he is expressing that voice of his conscience to Bhagavan. And he is so fortunate that he is with Bhagavan. So, Bhagavan will answer, Bhagavan will resolve his doubts. And then at the end, and Arjun will uh, pray to Bhagavan that kindly guide me. Where am I making mistake? So for this one needs lot of patience, lot of courage. That's why Arjun is a very brave person. He is not just brave in fighting, he is brave when it comes to dharma in religion also. Only a person who deliberates, he can be dharmic, he can be religious. Those who do not deliberate, those who do not think, they just do whatever they like. But Arjun is listening to his conscience, and whatever doubt he is getting, he is going to get it resolved. He will also have this doubt that uh, I have I have become foolish, I have become mudha. So you kindly guide me. So this is the quality of a religious dharmic person. So I am not talking about those dharmic religious people who give lot of big lectures, but act do all kinds of things which they should not do. So that means that dharma has not touched his heart. It is just on the outside, superficially. It's like a makeup, like you can do a makeup of your face. So makeup is external. Internally, it's all same only. So if I have a spot on my face, then I can hide it by some makeup, but actually the spot doesn't go away. So dharma is not just a makeup with some powder or lotion. Dharma is something that we have to imbibe in our heart. We have to digest it. We have to assimilate it. And we have to apply the principles of dharma in our life. Otherwise, many people have knowledge. But if we do not act on the dharma, then the dharma principles simply remain a burden. And our mind gets divided. It becomes split. It gets into duality. And that is, then we become a split personality. So we should not be like that. our feelings, our thoughts, we have to hold on to them, and if we are having something or some opposite feelings, we have to remove them. Should not live in duality. So Arjun is not committing that mistake. Whatever opposite feelings he's getting it resolved. He himself is telling that we are going to engage in sin. People don't say that. They say that no need to talk, just remain quiet and do it, whatever you want. Nobody will advise someone else that what you are doing is sinful. Don't do that. So the other person thinks that yes, what that fellow is telling is correct, but then externally suppresses it. So this is hypocrisy. Should not be like that. This is mithyachara, acting duplicitously. So inside and outside we should be one. What we are thinking, that we should talk and we should act accordingly. Otherwise we will have lot of problems in our life. Our chitta, our inner mind is speaking something, externally we are doing something else. We are not like that, but we are showing off ourselves like that. We are presenting ourselves as some very great personality in front of others. Inside we know, inside our clothes we all are naked. So if we want to be Siddha, we should actually be Siddha. If it is good to be Siddha, then work accordingly and become Siddha. Don't just show yourself off as a Siddha Purush. So this is a great quality of Arjun. This is a great quality of a disciple. Good disciple is, a qualified disciple is like this. One who doesn't hide his wrong qualities. He exposes himself in front of his guru, and like Arjun is doing, then only you can get rid of those bad qualities. And even if guru understands that, guru will not resolve the problem, because the disciple is not exposing, showing, revealing his wrong qualities in front of guru. So if guru tries to expose that, then he will get attacked by the disciple, so guru remains quiet. So this is a very important aspect of Arjuna's character, and we should take lesson from this. And the other point is that in some situation a person out, forced by his situation takes some decision, but actually his thinking is not like that. So we should think on that, that am I taking decision because of this situation, forced by that? So whatever lecture Arjun is giving, it is simply due to that situation. So sometimes our mind gets influenced by lust, sometimes by anger, sometimes by greed, and being influenced by that, whatever decision we take, then later it may become a source of suffering. So we should think that whatever decision I am taking, is it due is it due to lust, greed, or anger? If it is true, then we should avoid that, because that will not be fruitful for us. Later it will become a source of trouble for us. So that's why Arjun does not take decision, although he is speaking he will not fight, but what he actually means, that I will not fight till my doubts are resolved. Otherwise I will remain in the doubt. Otherwise, if you tell me that I should fight, that I will fight, not a problem, but these doubts will remain in me. So, from that point of view, he will tell going forward in second chapter. So, this is quality of a good disciple, that he gets his doubts resolved from the guru. Because when the doubts are resolved, then you can engage in the activity wholeheartedly, and then you will be successful. Because this spiritual path Bhagavan cannot be obtained by a person who is weak. Here, weak means that we do not apply our own energy. We engage in spirituality half-heartedly. Let me do this also and let me do the other thing also. So, Babaji is telling that his Guru Maharaj used to say that we should not go 50-50. So this sentence he used to tell in English that in the spiritual path 50-50 does not work. That's why in Gita Bhagavan is also telling that uh, spirituality you have to engage in it completely. That's why Bhagavan, then only Bhagavan gives his mercy. Otherwise, he sees that this person is engaging, is playing around with Maya. So we will stop here. If you have any question, you can ask.
Subhash ji?
उत्कर्ष जी का प्रश्न है, जय जय श्री राधे महाराज।
Question.
महाराज, शुरू में आपने अहंकार के ऊपर
Initially, you spoke about Ahankar, and I have heard from many great personalities that Bhakti Devi
वाहन
or Srimati Radharani, her vehicle is humility. So, Maharaj, how can we practice humility, and how should we always be aware that we deal with everyone in a humble way? So the answer for that, you have to observe your ahankar, you have to be aware of that, at whatever activity I am engaging in. Like I said, that we need ahankar. Without ahankar, we cannot act. Like now that if I am teaching, I cannot teach without the ahankar that I am a teacher. If I absolutely don't have any abhiman that I am a teacher, how will I teach? So, but if I have the ahankar that I am a great teacher, and the other ahankar can be I am a teacher, and by the mercy of Guru and Bhagavan, whatever knowledge they have given to me, I am passing it on to others as a medium so that they also become surrendered to Bhagavan. So then that ahankar is not obstructing in my activity. Like that, we have to remain humble. That whatever I am doing, it is by mercy, by Guru, by Bhagavan, by Srimati Radharani. Without their mercy, I cannot do anything. In this way, we have to maintain humility. We have to practice that humility. As long as we have this remembrance that we are acting by their mercy, in later in Gita, Bhagavan will say that in all times remember me and fight. So he is telling Arjun to fight. That means it is your duty, you perform that. But to perform your duty, you have to maintain your ahankar. If you are a student, you have to have ahankar of student. If you are a teacher, you have to have ahankar of teacher. If you are husband, you have ahankar of husband. Whatever activity you are engaging in, you have to have ahankar according to that activity. Otherwise, you cannot do that. But we should not be proud of that, because of which we insult others, thinking ourselves as very superior or great. So Bhagavan is telling about Anusmara, and he also tells Sarveshu Kaleshu that always you should have this remembrance.
कि उस अहंकार
So I
को
told in
दूर
beginning also that
कमाते चलेंगे
until
उनकी सेवा
and unless
अहंकार को
we
उन्हीं की सेवा करेंगे
engage,
उनकी
we
चीजों को
understand that
चीजों को
ahankar is
खरीदेंगे
in service
चाहे
of
बैंक से
Bhagavan. If that ahankar is Bhagavan's property, it has come from him, it should be engaged in his service only. Like if there is a cashier in the bank, so the cashier understands that this cash does not belong to me. I cannot keep it in my pocket, but he works so meticulously as if it belongs to him only.
पांच पैसा इधर से उधर हो गया तो उसको हिसाब देना पड़ेगा नौकरी से
Small amount of money, 5 paisa also, if it no, is not matching in the accounts, he may be thrown out of his job. So like that, we have to be very aware that this body, mind, intelligence, everything is given by Bhagavan. So it should be engaged in his service. So if we have this awareness, then the ahankar is not destructive. So we have to maintain this awareness, this remembrance.
उत्कर्ष उत्कर्ष जी का दूसरा प्रश्न है कि राधे राधे महाराज।
Next question.
महाराज आपने
Uh,
क्रोध लोभ
you told about
महाराज मैंने
lust,
स्वयं
greed,
पर काम किया
anger.
है और मैंने
In
दूसरों
me
को
also
बाहर
I
से
have
परेशान
lust and I have
तो
heard
भगवान
from
बोलते
great
हैं कि हमें सहन
personalities
करने चाहिए
that
लेकिन
the
महाराज
forces of
हम
lust,
सहन
we
करने का
should
सही
tolerate
तरीका
them.
क्या है जिससे आगे
So we try that, but what is the correct way of tolerating the force of lust so that it doesn't blast off?
करने के लिए
So the answer,
सहनशीलता
to
होगी तो आप
tolerate
कर सकते हैं
the lust, you should have tolerance,
जैसे
that
आदत
quality.
होती है
Like if a person has hunger,
स्तर तक तो आप भूख को सहन कर
to
सकते
some
हैं
extent you can
लेकिन अगर भूख
tolerate your
बहुत
hunger,
है
but if hunger is
तो
very
उसको
at
सहन नहीं
extreme
कर
level, then you cannot tolerate
तो
that.
आपको भोजन चाहिए
Then you need food.
तो ऐसे ही काम का भी वेग
So
होता है
like that,
तो देखना
the
पड़ेगा
force of lust
कब
also,
सहन
so it
करना
has to be
चाहिए
checked.
कब
To what extent is that
कब
force? Is it
उसमें
actually
आप
tolerable?
एक्शन नहीं करते हैं
If
तो
you
उसको
can
बोलते
tolerate that,
हैं
fine. If you cannot tolerate
समाज
that,
में कि आप
then
गृहस्थ आश्रम में
you enter into householder life,
तो
grihastha
दो
ashram.
मार्ग हैं उसके तो
So
अगर
that
आप
is the
ब्रह्मचर्य
path.
पालन
There
कर
are two
सकते हैं
paths.
उसके
If
लिए
you
भी
can
साधना
follow brahmacharya, for that also there is sadhana.
नहीं है तो गृहस्थ आश्रम
You do that. If it is not possible for you, you enter into grihastha ashram in householder life. So these are the urges in the body.
लेकिन उसको समझना
Like
पड़ेगा
hunger, there is urge
गृहस्थी
of
जो है वो मन
lust
में रहता
also,
है इसलिए
but you have to understand
मानसिक
that
उसको बोलते हैं
lust
मनोज भी
mostly it is in mind only.
तो मन को शुद्ध रखना मन में
So
अच्छे विचार
the
रखना
cure is keep your mind pure
कामुक
with good
चीजों को
thoughts.
देखना कामुक
Don't watch
वस्तुएं
pictures
वीडियो इतने आते हैं
which are
क्योंकि
lusty,
वो
videos which are full
प्रेरित
of
कर देते
lust,
हैं
because then what will happen?
प्रेरित करते
It
हैं
will activate your
भाव तो है अंदर
lust which is
और उस
within.
भाव को फिर जो आप
So the
प्रेरित
feeling
करेंगे
of lust is already there inside,
तो साहित्य
and
में
if you
कहते हैं
activate it,
उद्दीपन विभाव तो
so in the Sahitya we
वो
say the
नहीं
Uddipan
करना
Vibhav, so
उद्दीपन
we
से
should
जो
not
चीजों
activate
को
that
जगाता
lust.
है उससे दूर रहना
So those things which activate our lust,
संजना राग
we
करना
should stay away from those
वो
things.
काम
So we should
करेंगे
neither
तो उसके
be attached to that nor hate
पाते
that.
हैं
Some people who
होने
are
के लिए नहीं है
afflicted with lust,
क्योंकि वो
they
चीजें
hate
प्रकृति है ना
those objects which activate their lust.
उसका उपयोग है
So that is not the cure.
भगवान कहते भी हैं
In Gita, Bhagavan is telling also.
भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भर्तोऽस्मि तो वो अपना ये स्वरूप बताते हैं खुद ही कहते हैं कि मेरा ये भी मेरी विभूति विभूति
So Bhagavan is telling that this lust which is not against dharma,
उसको दबाना
that
समझना
is
नहीं
also my vibhuti. So it is not possible to simply suppress
सामर्थ्य
it.
के अनुसार देखना है कि मेरे को
According to your own situation, you have to analyze what is the right path ahead.
मेरा एक प्रश्न
Any other question?
गुरुदेव आपने बताया कि लोभ काम मोह क्रोध
So
इन
question, as you
सबसे
said that
हम जब
lust, anger,
प्रभावित होते हैं
greed,
तो हम
as long
गलत
when we
निर्णय
are
लेते हैं और
influenced by
हमें
this,
उसका
we
दुख
take
होता है
wrong
तो
decision and
मैंने
later
ये अनुभव किया
we
है कि
suffer for that.
बाद
So
में
I
जब हम
also have
सोचते हैं कि हम
experienced
ये
that
गलत
later
सोच
I
रहे हैं
understood
ये
that the
काम जो
decision I had taken,
के वजह से
it
था
was
और
because of
उससे हम कैसे
lust,
सतर्कता
greed.
बना पाएंगे
But when we are actually in that situation, how do we remain aware? So the answer, later when you realize the mistake you made, you should deliberate on that and you should take firm resolve that when I again have a similar situation, I will not act accordingly. So you have to implant the new correct samskar for taking the right decision.
तो
So mostly whatever decisions we take, they are because of those wrong samskaras. So the solution is you have to deliberate and understand that next time when I face such situation, I will not act in that way. And you have to develop your awareness. Awareness is very important on the path of spirituality. Awareness is the real mantra in spirituality. Otherwise, people are simply moving ahead in their life while sleeping.
तो आपने बोला ज्ञानम भारम क्रियाविना तो
So, a question, as you said,
प्रकृति क्या
uh,
भारम
that knowledge is a burden if it is not put into application. So, what do you mean by that burden? So, here that burden simply means that that knowledge will keep increasing the ahankar in you, that I am now a knowledgeable scholar. Ahankar is a burden. While sleeping, ahankar also sleeps. Ahankar is a very big burden, and those who have very big ahankar, they feel very heavy in their life. That's why those people who are in big positions, generally they have this habit of taking some tablets or drug, because their ahankar troubles them a lot. Although we don't know this, we don't understand this, that it is a very big burden. So when that ahankar is not there, we will derive lot of pleasure. So like this, knowledge can be also a big burden. Actually, knowledge is not supposed to increase ahankara. It is supposed to make us humble, but that humility will happen only if we act on that knowledge. Otherwise, it will simply increase our ahankara.
Babaji, what is the impact of food, water on the money we earn on this calm, krodh, lobh? Because they automatically impurify our consciousness if our money is not purified in terms of donating something. If you don't eat proper sanctified food, so these will have a lot of impact. Just I want to know regarding this.
हाँ, तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा विषय है। जो शुचिता है, प्योरिटी, वो अनेक प्रकार की है। अर्थ की शुचिता उसको बोलते हैं।
So there is so purity is a very big topic. Purity of wealth. One whose wealth is pure, that person is pure. So purity means the wealth that we are earning. If we are earning by adharmic, irreligious acts, that wealth also destroys our intelligence. I have seen this in life with people, that those people who are generally in government positions and who they take bribes, their children generally remain corrupted, and their children also give them suffering, because the wealth that they have earned, their children are being maintained with that wealth only earned by bribes. So it is, we have not seen that a person who is earning wealth through lot of wrong means, but at the same time is very happy in family. That doesn't happen. That's why earlier we had these rishis, like there was Kanad, the writer of Vaisheshik Darshan. His name was Kanad, because like we have this Kana, the grain, according to n- uh, so in Smriti Shastra it is said that Brahman is allowed to take do bhiksha, to beg, but so Kanad, what he used to do, you just live on what was obtained by the crops which was just somewhere some thrown away. So he had such advanced level of intelligence because of that purity of the food, the wealth. So food also is like that. It affects us accordingly, depending on its purity.
one can only reduce gradually the attraction for sense object, because to go to zero, one would need another ahankara. Could you please explain this again?
Another ahankara, I already explained that you are servant of Krishna. You don't need to remove this, you have to transform it. That way, my body, my mind, my Atma, everything belongs to Krishna. That is the real. So, Mangalacharan ke
We'll recite the prayer verses.
Dogdha Gopal Nandana Partho Vatsah Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Mritam Mahat Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva Karpanya Doshopahata Svabhavaha Prichhami Tvam Dharma Sammudha Chetaha Yachrayah Shanishchitam Bruhi Tanme Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvanitir Matir Mama Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankaja Nabhaya Namaha Pankaja Maline Namaha Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajangraye Bhave Bhave Yatha Bhakti Padayostava Jayate Tatha Kurushva Devesha Nathastvam No Yatah Prabho Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanastam Namami Harim Param Hari Om Tat Sat